The story begins in an abandoned building where some guys meet up, and a blonde boy opens up a suitcase full of cash and tells them that he is in charge of distribution. He brought the goods. Therefore, he will be taking an 80% share, and if someone does not like this arrangement, then they can leave. A guy told him to shut up as he did not deserve to get this much and then said that he was not there to play word games. Just as he was about to make his move, another boy put his hand on his shoulder and exclaimed that it was really a lot of money and asked the blonde boy how he managed to get this money. And then he proceeds to slam the guy into the floor. He then says to them that he is there to arrest all of them for illegal fundraising, inciting assault, and so on. And they are being arrested as criminals, as they had all been caught in the act. The protagonist is a member of the juvenile police, which is a special team that was created by the government, and it recruits students as police officers. The story then goes into a flashback to 1 year ago, showing that Jae-ha was sleeping on his desk in the school, and his friend Jonghwan Lee wakes him up, telling him that class is over already and they should get going. Lee told him that he is now part of the youth police, which is a joint initiative by the government and the police. Jae-ha asks whether he will stop attending school from now on and only work as a cop. Lee replies that he only goes out if there is a mission or something urgent. Otherwise, he just attends school like a normal kid. Jae-ha then tells him he should just finish school and then take the exam and join the police, but Lee tells him that he has been training to become a cop, so he has to grab this opportunity. Just as they were talking, Mingyu came from behind and told Jae-ha to come to the PC room with him and lend him some money, but Jae-ha told him that he did not have much money. Just then Lee interrupted and told Mingyu that they did not have any money. Mingyu then sees his badge and asks him if he is that juvenile police upholding justice or something, to which Lee tells him that he is. Mingyu then leaves with his friends as Lee tells Jae-ha not to hang around this guy and tells him to let him know if it seems like he is about to do something, as this is the reason he became a cop. Jae-ha makes fun of him, saying that he beat him up in middle school, and they start bickering. After a while, during the night, Lee arrived at an abandoned building where there were a lot of kids there, and he stopped them and requested HQ to send support fast as they had already got them. The guy at the other end tells him to come out first as it would take a while for the support to arrive, but Lee tells him that he would stall people here, to which the officer curses and tells him to just come out, but Lee ignores him. As the other boys are getting annoyed by how they are unable to stop one person, Min-gai walks into the room and calls Lee Jae-ha's lackey after seeing him. He then asks him if he wants to work for him, as he has the guts to come here alone to catch them. Lee tells him that support will arrive soon, so they all are going to get caught anyway, so it is better to stop resisting and just surrender. Mingyu tells him since they were screwed either way, he is going to kill him before and throws a punch at him, which Lee guards against, and then a kick at his side. Just then, Mingyu grabs his name tag and pulls it, which causes Lee to lose balance, and then he punches him in the abdomen, saying he is a former boxing athlete. The punch forces Lee to stumble down, and as he is standing in front of the window, he breaks its glass and falls out of the window. Jae-ha recalls their last conversation as he stood in front of the hospital bed, where Lee was lying unconscious. After a while, Jae-ha thought that delayed police backup and all other things did not matter, and it only mattered as long as Mingyu got proper punishment for his crime. Just then, Mingyu walked into the class muttering that he needed more rest, but they only gave him a 3-month suspension. He then told his friends that his trial went smoothly as they let him off after he told them that it was an accident, and now he just has to fill in some community service hours. This annoys Jae-ha as his friend has not woken up, and this bastard is just yapping some nonsense. Mingyu then tosses Lee's police name tag to Jae-ha and tells him to return it to the authorities as they were bugging him to return it. Jae-ha gets up and throws a punch at Mingyu after hearing this, but Mingyu grabs his fist and punches him in the face, and then a few more jabs, which makes Jae-ha fall to the ground. He then tells him to stop acting like his friend or he will also end up in a hospital bed next to him. He tells him that it is his friend's fault for chasing them down and acting tough while talking about the police as they were quietly making money, but he just had to interfere with it. Mingyu's friends tell him to stop hitting or he will get in trouble if some teacher were to arrive, and they leave after that. Jae-ha starts crying while recalling that Lee was his only true friend, as they met when he was beaten by his drunk father and ran away from home. He met Lee while sitting outside, who offered him chocolate and asked him if he also got kicked out of his house, and recalls that he was the only guy who truly understood him. After a few days, As Jae-ha was sitting in the hospital room beside Lee's bed, a guy came in asking if this was Lee Jung-won's room, to which Jae-ha replied that it was and asked me who he was. The guy tells him that he is Officer Lee Yong-rim and is in charge of Lee's case. Jae-ha tells me his name, to which the officer replies that he was planning on meeting with him anyway, so it is good that he found him here. He then told him to go outside and talk for a bit. Outside on a bench, he told him that there was a chance that his friend would wake up, so he should cheer up. Jae-ha asks him whether he knows Lee well, to which the officer tells him that of course, he does, as he was his commanding officer. Lee was one of the members of his juvenile police team. Jae-ha asks me how Lee was there. The officer tells him that even though he was lacking in academics, physical fitness, and a few other areas, he was closer to becoming a real police officer than anyone else. He told him that he used to talk about him a lot and used to say that he has a friend who is terrible at games and he is his childhood friend from the neighborhood who is in a similar situation as him, so he would take him to ramen cafes and PC rooms after he becomes a police officer and gets money. He then gives Jae-ha his card and tells him to reach out to him if anything happens. As he was leaving, Jae-ha stopped him and asked if he could also apply for juvenile police. The officer asks him if he wants to join for revenge. He further adds that even if he still needs to have real skills to stop criminals, and he should at least know how to fight and know some martial arts. Jae-ha asks him to help him as Min-gyu comes back to school acting like nothing happened and even beats him up when he confronts him and says that it is not fair that some guys can only get away with community service hours just because they are minors and first-time offenders while the other person ends up in a hospital and cannot even wake up. The officer tells him that the recruitment is over, but if a reason arises, then it might be possible, but for that, he would have to show something convincing, and it would not be easy, and asks him if he is still willing to try, to which Jae-ha nods. After 6 months, a guy knocks on the door of an office in Yongdongpo and starts yelling at the people there that they should pay him up or else he will burn the place upside down. Just as he was creating all this commotion, Min-gyu came forward and smashed his head into the ground while telling him to stop being a hypocrite as they were now losing. Just then, Jae-ha walks into the office and says to Min-gyu that he is still the same as before. Min-gyu tells his friends to back off while saying that those eyes look familiar, and after Jae-ha took off his cap, he recognized him and started laughing while saying that he thought he disappeared after getting his ass kicked during that time and asked how he found his office. Just as he was talking, Jae-ha threw a punch at him, which Min-gyu dodged while saying that he told him to not try anything funny, but I guess he lost it after losing a friend. He then told him that he was going to send him to his friend. Min-gyu starts throwing jabs at Jae-ha, and while the latter tries to form a guard, Min-gyu ignores it and punches his face while mocking his guard stance. Jae-ha recalls that the officer had told him that he would lose if he fought Min-gyu, and that is why he made him practice throws 10,000 times while quoting Bruce Lee that a man who had practiced one kick 1,000 times was more dangerous than a man who had practiced 1,000 kicks one time. He told him not to fall and just focus on enduring and wait for the right moment. That is the moment his opponent throws his strongest punch, as that will be the moment he will be at his most vulnerable, and he had to seize that moment. Just as Min-gyu's fist was about to reach him, he leaned sideways and handcuffed his hand, threw him down to the ground, and then started punching his face, which made all of Min-gyu's friends leave the office and run away as they got scared. After putting Min-gyu on the ground, Jae-ha told him that he was under arrest for illegal gambling, embezzlement, and assaulting an officer. He then handcuffed both his hands and said that right now he is under arrest as a criminal caught in the act. After capturing them, Jae-ho contacted the precinct and started to wait for the detective to arrive. But to his surprise, other police officers came and asked if he was the one who reported and told his subordinate to collect the CCTV. Jae-ho asks whether Detective Lee is coming or not, but the officer tells him that he does not know any detective by this name. Jae-ho tells him that he is a detective at the Gempo precinct. The officer tells him that he had no idea about Gwemp precinct as they were currently in Yongdong-po-gu jurisdiction. He then asked him whether he was the one who apprehended these people and asked if there were any signs of violence. Jae-ho says that there was a fight, but he was a student, and before he could finish speaking, the officer handcuffed him and told him to follow them to the precinct. At the precinct, he summarizes that the student who wanted to become a youth police officer was under a Gempo detective named Lee Yong-rim, and just as he was speaking, Detective Lee came and took Jae-ho with him after completing all the necessary formalities. As they were walking outside, why was that so? If the call was made from Yongdongpo, Then their local police responded. Detective Lee calls him stupid and tells him to go with him. Outside, Jae-ho started panicking, but the detective praised him for good work and then proceeded to tell him that it was true that there was a direct assault, and if the other person's body was injured, then he would be charged and may end up with up to 7 years in jail or a fine of 10 million won. Jae-ho asks then what will be about him joining the juvenile police. The detective tells him that if there was a criminal record, then he would not be able to become a police officer, and he had already told him at the beginning that it was not going to be easy. Jae-ha shouts and tells him not to act like this, as he had worked for half a year, trusting only him. The detective told him to stop being worried and follow him to a place. When Jae-ho asked about where they were going, the detective told him to wait patiently and that he would know once they arrived there. He then tells him to open YouTube and check out the latest news section. The news surprised Jae-ho as the news anchor was talking about how a student caught and arrested the gang leader of a youth gambling by himself, and his video of fighting with Mingyu was being shown. The news anchor further says that as everyone can see in the video, the student caught the group of youth gamblers alone, and since the assault occurred during the process, they are therefore investigating the circumstances. He saw comments where netizens said that they felt relieved, and some even asked about punishment. They also said that students who punish juvenile offenders have significant implications for society. After watching the video, Jae-ho panicked and asked the detective why his video was uploaded on the news. Detective Lee told him that it took some effort, but it was finally uploaded, and asked him if the reaction was a bit too much. He then asked him whether he remembered what he told him half a year ago, that he had clearly shown something acceptable to society, and that is what he was aiming for in the first place. He told him that the reason he trained him was not for him to become a juvenile police officer, but to create a performance where he would catch all those boys himself. As there had been lots of reactions due to this, and even within the police many had started to recognize him, and as the public opinion would come together with the reactions within the police, it would become a topic on everyone's lips, and when the topic gains more traction, then everything would end up with a proposal to recruit him. After a while, Detective Lee reports all this to Kim Yejin, the chief of the Gempo police station, and requests her approval. He told her Do Jae-ha is a friend of team member Lee Jong-hwan and is suitable in terms of physical strength and personality, and it was determined that he had sufficient qualifications to be hired outside of the quota. Chief Kim says to him that when she received this project from the main office, she handed it to him because no one else was willing to do it, but now he is doing things this way, ignoring all the manuals, and says that it seems unusually emotional for him and asks him if it is because of that incident. He replies that he simply made the best decision at hand and she would have nothing much to worry about. She then asks him if the boy is currently being investigated for assault. He tells her about Article 1, Paragraph 3, which authorizes juvenile police officers who are prohibited from carrying firearms to have direct authority from the director, which is the right to immunity against violence, and he plans to apply this provision during the investigation period. She tells him to keep in mind that he is already being monitored by the media, so he should not let anything go wrong. After a while, Detective Lee comes out and takes Jae-ho with him to the gym with other team members. On the way, he told him that he was hired but as an apprentice. As they arrived at the gym, two boys were sparring with each other. He tells Jae-ho that this will be the team that he will be learning with. A guy asked if he was the new guy after looking at Jae-ho. The detective tells him that he is not an employee yet but an apprentice who could become one. He then tells Jae-ho that his apprenticeship period is 2 weeks, and in these 2 weeks he must fulfill 2 conditions. The first is that both the team members must complete a mission with him, and he must receive a learning evaluation score of A. The second condition is that he must secure first place in the overall performance of the 24 juvenile police teams across Seoul. He tells him that if he fails to meet these 2 conditions, then not only would he fail to get hired, but he would also not be exempted from the assault charges. He further tells him that the basic system for juvenile police officers is a 3-person team because the judgment of minors can be immature, considering the difficulty of facing criminals directly. But their physical ability is selected carefully, and you are below average. As Jae-ho was sparring with Park Kyung-jun, he was having thoughts about giving up and that he was going to fail and he would have a criminal record. He was not able to dodge a single punch from Kyung-jun and kept getting beat around. As he was thinking this, Kyung-jun came in front of him and punched him in the face while saying that he thought that sparring was some sort of joke. As he falls to the ground, the clock timer hits 0, and the detective stops the sparring. Kyung-jun told him that he opposed this as he is very low tier and they would not be able to achieve anything, and if they would fail in a real situation because they would have to take care of him. Detective Lee remarks that this could happen, and he then proceeds to ask Ryutail about his opinion on Jaeho, who replies that he thinks that for now, he is a little lacking, but they should not push him too hard. He adds that it would be fine if he works well, as he did try to hold on. He then walks up to Jaeho and extends his arm to help him get up and says that they should try to work together. After the sparring session was over, as they were walking outside in the hall, Tail told the detective that they should just quietly send him off as this was lame. He says that physically he did not see any potential and asks him what exactly he intends to do with him. Detective Lee told him that he had a plan, and further adds that he decided to train Jaeho on a whim, and with just a suplex, he took down Mingyu, a veteran, in just 6 months, so it was not entirely luck. Tail told him that he understood what he was saying, but there are so many variables in real-life situations. Detective Lee started laughing and told him it was unfortunate if he felt that way, but there was nothing they could do as it had already been decided. Tail cursed in his mind and said, why would he bother asking in the first place then? They then walk into the interrogation room, and the detective apologizes to Mingyu for being late and then says that they should have a talk. As Jaeho was walking home, his whole body was aching, and he decided that next time he would definitely land a hit on Kyung-jun. He thought that he was going to act up for no reason, and then he would have to live his whole life with a criminal record, and just as he was thinking all this, he arrived home and he carefully entered the house to not wake up his dad, as if that would happen, then he would get beaten up. The next morning when he arrived at the precinct, a girl handed his access card to him and told him that he should not lose it at any cost as he would need it to enter, and he should carry it with him at all times. She inquires if he is the new trainee and then tells him to hang in there. Kyung-jun tried to flirt with the girl, but she told him to shut up as he was annoying. Jaeho asks her if there are other juvenile police teams, as his access card says that he is a member of Team 2. She told him that there are 3 juvenile teams in each district, and they are in the Mapo district. She further tells him that currently, since the juvenile police system is still on trial, they are only assigned in Central Seoul, or in other words, across the Han River. They then arrived at the gym, where the detective came and told them he was going to brief them regarding the new mission. He tells them that after doing some investigation, he found out that Mingyu was not the leader of the gambling ring and had a separate place to raise funds. He told them that their next target was the guy above him. He then shows them a short video of a chubby kid. He is not their target and he is a victim, and the key point there is who was recording. Their target is 19-year-old Moon Jong-bin, who was a popular guy on Instagram with over 300k followers. His main income comes from social media, video ads, and gambling sites. He baits the nerds with fake concepts, and when they film videos, he slips into the gambling site. In total, he makes around the price of a foreign car per month. And this guy was moving with a group who all owed him gambling debts, and there was no point for those nerds to try resisting as things would get messy. He told them the victim was not just one kid, and it was highly likely there were many others. He told them that their mission was to gather all the crime data related to Moon Jong-bin and bring him down while rescuing all the victims. Kyung-jun suggests that they should just go and beat them all up as they were all criminals anyway. Tail told him that there was not enough evidence and they did not have a warrant, so they would not be able to justify it. Kyung-jun suggested that they should look for a law that works for this situation. Tail told him that he was the problem, and it appeared to him that he just become a cop just to beat people up. He then says that it is hard to find illegal gambling sites with just a police badge, and they should first trace down the victims in the video, as after figuring out their identities, it would be easier to form a strategy. Detective Lee points out that they would not be able to get their personal info as the site is foreign. He then asks Jaeho to speak up if he has any ideas. After thinking for a while, Jaeho says that he might have a way to find out that guy. As the chubby kid was returning home from school, he was quite happy as one of his fangirls had requested him to meet up with her. And this made him extremely happy, but he was surprised to see 3 guys standing in front of him. Tail greets him and tells him that his nickname is Jinju and he would like to talk about Moon Jong-bin. But before he could finish speaking, the guy started running away from them. Jaeho shouts at him to stop, but Kyung-jun tells him to stop worrying, as that guy would not be able to run away far. Tail is very fast when it comes to running, and as they were speaking, Tail had already caught up with the kid and stopped him. Kyung-joon then says to Jae-ho that he did not think the plan would work, but it really did. He then asked him whose fake profile picture he used. Jae-ho told him that he used an AI generated images as they could not use real pictures recklessly. Kyung-joon gives him a thumbs up, saying that it was a pretty clever idea. As the chubby kid was struggling and shouting about what was going on, Tail told him that they were not there to interrogate him and that they had come because they received a tip about Moon Bin's criminal activities, so he should not stay silent as that would hurt him and he should be cooperating with them. After a while, all of them sat in a cafe and the guy told them he did not mean to start this in the first place and that he only made some dumb stuff with his friends, but when one of his videos got a lot of attention, he was approached by Moon Bin and told him to work for him as his short videos got a lot of views. Tail asked him if they could not understand everything, as there were videos of when he was screaming in the subway and running around in just his underwear, and told him that there was not any legal contract, so why would he have to go this far? The kid told them that he had to suck up all the views he could. Otherwise, those guys would spread the nude pictures that they took, so he had no choice but to do as they told him to do. Kyung-joon remarked that these guys were more messed up than he thought. He then says that now that they have enough recording, they should just storm in. Tail told him that it was still not enough as other victims were suffering like this. He then says that they would use Jae-ho as bait to get them to reveal their true identities. He told him that they would be watching from a distance through a minicam, which he installed in his shirt button. He told him to gather intel and they would take it from there. Jae-ho went into their office with the chubby kid who introduced him as his friend and said that he would be recording videos with him. He takes him to a room in the hallway and tells him that they should first greet the guy in charge and then proceed to knock on the door and call Jong Bin, who opens the door and asks what he wants. He says to him that he brought a friend with him, so they were here to greet him. Jae-ho greets and then looks into the room where another person is sitting and wonders who she is. Jong Bin told them to get lost as he was busy and then shut the door. Just as they were about to head towards one of the rooms for filming, a big guy came to stop them and stared at Jae-ho before touching his jacket and asking where he got that and saying that it was too small for him, so he could not steal it. Jae-ho told him that he got it in a sale. The guy then told them that they should hand over their phones as there was a filming phone inside. As Jae-ho was taking out his phone from his pocket, his access card also fell on the floor. The guy picked it up and was surprised that it was that of a juvenile police. Just as he called Jae-ho a bastard and was about to walk towards him, Jae-ho punched him in the face and was about to punch him again when a guy from the side kicked him away. Tail and Kyung-joon were shocked after seeing the feed. Jae-ho got up and apologized to Tail and Kyung-joon and told them to get there as fast as they could. He had caught enough evidence, and now they just needed to arrest these criminals. Just then Jong Bin also came out of the room, asking why the hell there was so much noise. Jae-ho took a fighting stance and told Tail and Kyung-joon. Jong Bin mocked him for saying that he had caught a criminal in the act and asked if he had come into their office to rob them. He then demands the search warrant from him since he is a cop and asks about the charges that he was going to be pressing against them. Jae-ha told him that he was blackmailing kids and taking video profits from them and forcing them to keep making more videos so he could earn more, and he was also running a gambling site. Jong Bin denies those actions and says that they should check who was right and started the live stream. He then told his viewers that just when he was going to shoot with newcomer Jae-young, a juvenile police officer showed up, accusing him of running a gambling site and stealing newcomer's money. He then asks Jae-young if he had ever done that. Jae-ha called him insane and said that since it had come to this, then it was even better for him to be exposed on the live stream. He told Jae-young to not be afraid and clear this right now. But Jae-young was shaking, and in the end he said that Jong Bin had never taken any money from him. Hearing this, Jong Bin started laughing and then told Jae-ha to get out of their office. As if he would not leave, then things were going to get worse. Just then a boy walked in the room and shouted excitedly to Jong Bin that he had just won 301 shot, and even though his opponent had a full house, he still won after he pulled a 4 of a kind, and then he inquired about why the mood was so dull here. Hearing this, all the people in the live stream started commenting that he did run a gambling site and started dropping messages saying the juvenile police should clear this thing for them. Jong Bin shouted angrily at the boy, saying that he had ruined everything and he was going to beat him up after this. He then gives orders to the boys to kill both Jae-ha and Jae-young. As the boys were about to rush to Jae-ha, Kyung-jun and Tail arrived there and beat up two of them who were ahead of the others, which shocked Jongbim and the others. Tail remarks that it was good that they were nearby. Kyung-gun said that they were going to take care of all. Tail told him to handle the big guy and he would take care of the rest of them, and then proceeded to tell Jae-ha to keep an eye on Jongbim, and they would take care of everything else. As he looks towards the three boys, he realizes that two of them were just pretending to be tough and the guy leading was a southpaw boxing style user, so he decides to hit the dude in the center and sprints towards him, which shocks them, and then punches the boy in the middle in the face. He then crouches to avoid the incoming punch from the other skinny boy and then gets him on the jaw with a jab. He immediately grabbed the boy and swung him towards the incoming fat guy who came shouting at him and then immediately created some distance between them. Tail proceeds to dodge the combos thrown by the guy and realizes that all the combos are exactly the same, so it was going to be easier for him to counter him. As another hook came towards him, he stepped aside and then grappled his hand and swung him on his back and slammed him on the ground. He then blurts out that she should have eaten more at breakfast, as he has a naturally weak body. As he was done with this, some other guys came running in the room, and the fight between Kyung-jun and the big guy was still continuing, which was making the big guy desperate as he had punched Kyung-jun so many times, yet he was still not going down. To mock him further, Kyung-jun told him that if he was done hitting him, then he was going to punch him with his 100% power, and with that, as the big guy was running towards him, he landed a punch on his face which sent him flying backwards. Tail was getting anxious as the number of boys there was increasing, and he felt that if they kept being tangled here for long, it would not be any good for them. As Jongbim decided to get out of there and head to the safe house, Jae-ha blocked his way, saying that he was not going to let him get away. Jongbim asks him what makes him so confident that he could stop him. Jae-ha laughs and says that he could easily beat him and asks him if he was scared. Jongbom threw a punch at him, which was blocked by Jae-ha, who realized that although it hurt, compared to Min-gyu, it was nothing. He then lunges forward and grabs him to throw him over, but Jongbim took out a knife and slashed at his hand with it, and blood started dripping from the wound. Jae-ha failed to realize that crime scenes are always different and there are many variables, and the current situation was one of those variables. Jongbim says that he was going to just push through and get out of here now, and as he ran towards Jae-ha with the knife in his hand, Jae-ha got overwhelmed by the fact that it was his first time facing a weapon and overdriven by his survival instinct and fear of death, that he would die if he got hit by the knife. He made the worst possible move in the situation and jumped sideways to avoid it, which gave Jongbim and others who said that all the big talk was for nothing, and then told his friends to get out of there, and they all ran away. Tail called Officer Lee and told him they had lost Jongbim as he charged at them with a knife, and Jae-ha failed to stop him, and it looked difficult for him to continue the mission in his current condition. So he was going to wrap things up and return as it was pointless to continue the mission, and he would report everything in person. He then walked to Jae-ha and asked him why he was not quitting this job and continued that he did not say that in their first meeting, but he did not seem to have a knack for this job. He told him that if this continues, then in most dangerous situations he would not be able to handle it, and then it was only a matter of time before he got removed from the team, and said that he should think about if he really wanted to be a police officer or not. Jae-ha thought that was it. It was really over for him. Just then, Kyung-jun called Tail over as a girl came out of the other room and asked if she was free to go. Tail told her that it was fine now as they all are youth police officers and asked her about her connection with Jongbim. She told him that she met him as a fan on Star, and he suggested that they should collaborate on shorts, so she came over to his office, but instead of filming, he tried to overpower her, and then she started sobbing again. Jae-ha suddenly got up and ran outside the building, which surprised them, and Kyung-jun asked whether he should chase after him. But Tail told him not to, as in his current state they would not be able to catch Jongbim, so they should secure the evidence first. Jae-ha was running on the streets thinking that he had to catch Jongbim at any cost when his phone rang, and it was Officer Lee who contacted him and asked him where he was. As Tail told him that he suddenly left, Jae-ha told him that it was his fault that Jongbim escaped, and at this rate he was going to ruin everything. Officer Lee told him to calm down and asked if his resolve was really this weak. He further says that fieldwork was always a series of unpredictable situations, and sometimes things could happen that they could not take responsibility for. He adds on that, however, despite all the mishaps, only fighting forward relentlessly was the essence of being a police officer and told him that it was still not too late, so he should get his head straight. Jae-ha asked him what he should do now. Officer Lee told him that he had gotten a lead on Jongbim, as now he was considered a fugitive, so it was easy to track him and check his records, and there are a total of 3 registered offices of Jongbim. One was the place they had just raided, another was the officetel run by Min-gyu, and the last one was the same gambling den where his friend Lee Young-hwan had his accident. As Jongbim arrived at his safe house with one of his friends, he smacked him, shouting that it was all his fault that now they were in this situation, and the boy apologized to him. He then told him to take care of it and went inside the apartment and started searching for his bag in the drawer and found his stash of money. He then saw the notifications on his phone where there was news on a popular forum about him running a gambling site and how he blackmailed other creators, which fueled his anger even more. He then decided to deal with this later, as his reputation can be built again as long as he has enough money. As he was about to leave the apartment, he heard a thud and saw that the boy who was standing guard at the entrance was knocked out cold, and he was surprised to see Jae-ha standing there, which amused him. He asked him why he was here again and if he wanted to die, and someone shouted at him that he had found him. Jongbim had taken out his knife again, but Jae-ha rushed at him and threw pepper powder in his eyes, which made Jongbim start to cough while cussing at him. And as he was struggling, Jae-ha punched him in the face, causing him to stagger backwards. Jae-ha immediately rushed at him to kick him, but Jongbim ducked and stabbed at his leg, causing him to fall to the ground, and he immediately got up and, even though he was still unable to see clearly, ran outwards, realizing that if he got caught by Jae-ha, then it would be over for him. As he got outside, his eyes were still burning, and he could not see clearly in front of him, which caused him to bump into a guy, spilling his drink. The boy then tried to grab him while saying that he should watch where he was going, and he bumped into him so suddenly that he was unable to avoid him, and now his clothes are dirty. Jongbim started swearing, which angered the boy, who said that this kid is a student but has such a foul language. The girl with the boy tried to calm him down, saying that they should just leave, as students these days are dangerous. Just then Jongbim snatched the drink from the girl's hands and poured it onto his face, and then said that he could finally see clearly now. He then walked to the boy, calling him old man, and gave him some money, and told him to just let it go and that he was sorry for bumping into him and he would pay for the damages, and since they were both busy, they should just go on their ways. The boy grabbed him, saying that he was really rude, which angered him, and he told him that he had already paid him and what more did he want? He told him to let go, and just as he was about to punch him, Jae-ha tackled him away from the boy on the street, angering Jongbim even more, who started shouting that now his face is known and he could not even run away now as people started clicking pictures of him and recording videos, wondering if a fight was going on. He then looked towards Jae-ha, calling him a bastard, and said that now he was going to beat him up and asked him just what he had done wrong with him for him to chase after him like a maniac. Did he kill his family member or what? Jae-ha took off his jacket and told him that a boy could not get up and that boy was his friend, and he wore the jacket just on his hands and kept it in front of him and told Jongbim to come at him. This action of his surprised Jongbim, who wondered why he suddenly dressed like that. Jae-ha wondered if his idea was going to work, and Jongbim ran at him with his knife to stab him, but he blocked it with his jacket and shrugged it aside, and another time he blocked his knife again and pushed Jongbim back. Jongbim could barely see, and he realized that Jae-ha wore his jacket backwards to block his knife. Jae-ha's quick thinking was a wise decision, as he was able to use his jacket to cushion the knife's impact and obstruct his opponent's view, and he was taunting Jongbim like a matador fighting a bull. Jongbim again rushed at him with full force and tore into his jacket with his knife, but he failed to stab at Jae-ha, and Jae-ha grabbed his hands and tried to lift him off to slam him into the ground, but Jongbim kicked him in the face, causing him to fall backwards. He then jumped up and kicked Jongbim in the face, knocking him to the ground. Jongbim then walked towards him and praised him for his smart decision and asked him if he got anything more and told him to try that trick again as he grabbed his hair and lifted him up from the ground and told him that if he was not going to resist, then he should just die. Jae-ha thought it was over, but suddenly a fire burned inside him, and he grabbed the incoming knife with his hand, causing it to stab into his hand, but he held on to it, thinking he was not going to let go of him even if he died. This action of his surprised Jongbim, causing him to shout at him, asking if he was crazy and why he was blocking the knife with his hand, and asking him if he thought it would be over if he just blocked it once. Jae-ha told him that he was going to hold him and then shouted, calling out Tail's name and asking if it was enough, which shocked Jongbim. Tail came running on the street, praising Jae-ha, saying that he had done a good job, and asking if he was too late. He then jumped up and kicked Jongbim in the face, knocking him to the ground. He then asked Jae-ha if he was alright and told him that he should not pull out the knife for now and should apply some pressure on it to stop bleeding. He then asked him what he was thinking and why suddenly ran out alone and caused this mess and got hurt badly. After some more scolding, he then praised him for catching the real culprit, and they shook hands. As Jongbim was getting arrested, he thought back to how this all started because one day one of his friends suggested he open an account on SNS as he was good looking so he would get lots of followers easily, and so he opened one and subscribers exploded. Models, PPL, illegal ads, and several other things that make money came his way, and then those guys came who gave him a lot of money and told him to grow his channel even more. So he set up an office and hired some muscle-headed guys to work for him. And afterwards he saw that even nerdy and weak students from his school were getting a lot of likes. So he wanted to take their money as well, as it was human nature and greed had no end. So he immediately recruited those idiots and forced them to work for him under unfair contracts and exploited them like slaves, and if they resisted, then he would just take it by force, but now he got arrested because of an idiot. As he was being put into the police vehicle, he shouted at Jae-ha that he was soon going to get out and he was going to kill him for real then, as he had remembered his face now. Tail told Jae-ha not to mind it, as those were empty threats and most criminals acted like that, but got shocked at seeing Jae-ha, who was clearly shaking out of fear but still tried to act tough as he showed a finger to Tail. Tail then told him to go ahead, and he would handle the aftermath with the paramedics. Just then those boys whom they had rescued before came and said thank you to Jae-ha. As he was going back through the bus, he thought about how it was the first time that someone had thanked him. He then took out his phone and messaged the team leader that everything had been done and he was now going to the hospital, who replied to him that he had done a good job and sent him a video saying that he should watch this. He saw that the video was an interview of his friend Young Hwan, causing him to laugh, and decided to tease him with this after he wakes up as it was super funny, but later got angry at him, calling him a bastard when he answered one of the questions, saying that his friend's grades were even worse than his, and seeing him pushes him to work harder. And to the last question, which asked him why he wanted to become a police officer, he replied that he was from a place called Daldongan and his friend also lived there. He said that his parents were alcoholic and to avoid their shouting, he would stay out of the house until they fell asleep, and some neighborhood guys would come to ask him for money, and when he did not have any, he would just get beaten up. So he decided to become strong to protect himself, and he could also save someone from living a life like his. He said that to him being a police officer was proof of himself, as he wanted to give hope to those who were in difficult situations to live on. Seeing this video made Jae-ha realize the feeling he got when those boys thanked him, and he decided to become a police officer as he would also be useful for someone in this world. As Jae-young and his friends were walking to their homes, one of the boys said that he wondered if they were truly free now. Jae-young replied that they were, as the police had seized all of Jongbim's accounts and his computers. His other friend praised him, saying that he was really amazing as he even published this, to which he replied that he did not, and after seeing the post he wondered just who did. On another street, the girl that was saved by juvenile police was talking with someone on the phone, and she told him that he got caught and youth police were already there before she posted and said that she had also reported him for sexual assault. The guy on the phone praised her, calling her Minji, and said that he was going to discard Jongbim anyways after he was no longer useful. So it all turned out to be well, and then told her that they would discuss it further in their next meeting and hung up, which caused Minji to curse him, saying that this bastard always hangs up after saying what he wanted. She then wondered if it was going to be troublesome, as youth police were now involved. After the Jongbim case, Jae-ha took a 2-week rest from his trainee period due to his hand injury, and during that time he trained with Tail to improve himself. In the gym we see Jae-ha and Tail practicing together, and Tail saying that he was still weak and needed to improve his strength. Suddenly Jae-ha turned around and hit Tail's jaw with his elbow, which caught him off guard, and he then praised him, saying that was unexpected and he did not see that coming, which made him realize that Jae-ha was growing little by little. As Jae-ha ran at him again, Tail grabbed him and put him into a lock, which made him immediately tap out, and he remarked that a little is all he grew. He told him that he had definitely improved compared to before. Jae-ha asked him where Kyung-jun was, as he had not seen him for the past few days. Tail told him that he was working so that they would manage to meet the quota, saying that there were many petty criminals so he was dealing with them, He told him that they had been working hard to get him through this trainee period, so he should also focus on his training and recovery. They then went to the cafeteria for food, as it was lunchtime. There Jae-ha was eating very fast, and Tail asked him if it was really tasty, to which he replied that it was tasteless garbage and added that it was so bad that it was good. Tail felt embarrassed at this scene and averted his gaze. He told Jae-ha that he could eat a lot, as this was a police-only cafeteria. Jae-ha said that it was really great that they got free food and said that police life is awesome. He then said that it was great that even youth officers like themselves got the same benefits as police officers, to which Tail also nodded approvingly. Jae-ha suddenly asked him how the juvenile system came into effect, to which he replied that he was not clear on the details, but according to rumors, it was due to excessive use of force on minors by adults and some internal police politics that played a role in this. He added that only the uppermost ranks in the police knew about the full story. Jae-ha asked him if the uppermost ranks referred to the chief of police or something. Tail responded by saying, "Yeah, it usually refers to those at the ranks of superintendent or so," and he called them big shots. Jae-ha then suddenly asked him that if he were to climb all the way to the chief of police, then that should make him the first juvenile police officer to do such a thing. Tail told him that it would likely be the case, as the juvenile system was new, so there was no precedent for that. They then went to their team leader asking about the details, who told them that it was not a job that anyone could get and even he could not get it. Jae-ha asked him how it worked then. He explained to him that the chief of police was usually at least at the deputy commissioner general level. It was a position where they would evaluate every aspect of the police. He told him that he was not even a full-fledged police officer yet, so dreaming of being chief was kind of delusional for him, and he told him that he also sucked at studying, so it was even ridiculous of him to think that, and he started laughing. Tail, on the side, thought to himself that this guy was really unrealistic. The team leader then asked Jae-ha about why he suddenly decided on becoming the chief. Jae-ha told him that he had changed after coming here and now he really wanted to become a police officer, and since he was going to be a police officer, he wanted to be the best there. Tail tried to explain to him that it was really hard, but the team leader stopped him and told Jae-ha that he should try his best and he would cheer for him. Tail asked him if they had to graduate from the police academy to become chief, right? To which he replied that though most of the chiefs had graduated from the police academy, not all of them had. He then added that he also liked that kind of reckless ambition and then wondered out loud if it was what people called goals nowadays. Tail then teased him, saying that promotion exams are insanely hard and he sucks at studying. Jae-ha told him that once he became the chief, then he and the team leader would work under him and started laughing, which caused Tail to refute. On the side, the team leader thought to himself, although he encouraged Jae-ha to become chief, the reality is very different as a lot of dirty work is involved, and one day he would have to step over him as well. While looking at Jae-ha, he questioned internally whether he would be able to step over him or not. Just then Kyung-joon arrived as Tail and Jae-ha were arguing. He then told the team leader to come downstairs for a bit and told him that they got a call and had brought in a few students, but the situation was troublesome. At the reception 2 students were sitting. One was a skinny guy while the other was a bulky guy who looked like a fighter, and the police officer asked the skinny one if what he heard was correct, that he got injured like this by getting punched in the face, but he did not want to hold the other party accountable. The bulky guy got irritated at this and shouted that they should just do it by the books now, saying that he did not care if he would get punished for this, but he was going to spill everything now. But the skinny guy hurriedly said that he did not want to escalate this and wanted to pretend like it never happened. The bulky guy punched him in the face, saying, "How dare this jerk try to give him orders?" which shocked the police officer, who got off his seat, saying, "Is this little punk crazy? He hit someone in the police station." The bulky guy ignored him and put his foot on the face of the skinny guy who was lying on the floor and said that he could arrest him if he wanted, but he should just think it through, as if it were to be investigated, then he would not be the only person who would get into trouble, and started laughing like crazy. After a while we witnessed Tail, Kyung-joon, and Jae-ha tailing the bulky guy who was talking with someone on the phone and saying very loudly that it was pretty much wrapped up and asking what they could possibly do and saying they would just have to bow down like crazy or else they would get screwed, and starting laughing. Jae-ha said that this guy was so loud that even at this distance they could hear his every word clearly. Kyung-joon, who was clearly annoyed at this situation, said that this kid was all talk. Jae-ha then asked why they were tailing him. Tail told them that the team leader had asked them to follow the perpetrator, saying that although it was an assault case, the victim was afraid of pressing any charges while the perpetrator was adamant that they should get punished, and it seemed fishy, and told them to find out about who he was and what he did, and had given them permission to take action as needed if things would escalate. Tail then reminded Kyung-jun to avoid direct confrontation as much as possible and told both of them that they needed to get the necessary information and leave. Jae-ha then said that the guy was going into a building that was a teen club. They then got into the club, and Tail said that they should split up and gather some intel, as staying together would prove to be tough there. After a while, Jae-ha decided that he really had to get out of here, and as he was going, he saw Kyung-jun dancing and enjoying whom he called, and they grouped together again. Tail said that they had now confirmed that the big guy was the bouncer, so now they should just look around for anything suspicious like drugs, alcohol, or any illegal item, and then head out. He told them to just secretly record if they found anything and then leave. As he was looking around, he realized that everyone present there just wanted to show off. But to his surprise, they were all clean and were just drinking cola and all. At the entrance, the guard even checked them for cigarettes, and they had nothing illegal going on around here, and he thought they had misread the situation and there was nothing wrong here. But he quickly dismissed the idea by recalling the incident in the police station where that guy acted so weird. But then he composed himself and decided not to overthink about this for now, and they should just head back. As he was walking ahead while thinking about and looking around, he failed to see that there was a tall guy standing in front of him, and he bumped into him.